Yo guys, welcome back to another video. And I know I did not hit number one, and me and my duo did not hit number one, but I still want to get this video out because I feel like some people might have been like, I guess, curious in terms of like what we did for our runs. As you can see, number 2 global. It should have been number 1, but we did end up getting sniped. I think we had a score of 108, and then other people, of course, had the people who beat us score 110. And yeah, me and my duo, we got to 108 and we saw improvements that we could have done within our run. And it was only like 2 hours left. We decided, you know what, let's just ignore it. Let's just do our solo tournaments. And then I come back because I was outside. I came back and I just found that we got sniped. But yeah, I'm trying to post my run, well, both our runs, so you can see both POVs and see what we did to get our score. And I'll go through, like, when I'm in the clip, like, when the clips are playing, I'll go through each and everything we do because there's a reason behind everything we did in our run. And I'll explain each reason why and pretty much just break it down. So if you like these types of videos, and I could be pushing them out like pretty much every week, let me know and I'll try make more of these. But in terms of the team setup, let me show you what team I ran. So this is the team I ran, I think. Low team. So yeah, this is the team I ran. So you got Kenny with these stuff right here, then Itachi with these stuff right here, then Dark Mage, of course, with these stuff right here, then Ruin with these stuff right here, and yeah, Inumaki with these stuff right here. And in terms of my partner's team, or my duo partner, he ran Megumi, Furin, Galtha, Utahime, I'm blanking because I'm stupid, or Senku, and I don't know why I'm just tripping. Let me just find the team. Give me a second. Okay, so how could I forget? So as you can see, the last unit was Itachi. So yeah, it was Utahime, Furin, Galtha, Megami, Itachi, and Senku. So yeah, let me just get into the runs and I'll explain each and everything. And but that's it for the intro. Hope you guys do enjoy these runs and these commentary that does go on with it. Oh wait, oh shoot, I forgot to run you guys through the equipments on my teammate's units. So Utahime had a slingshot and a magic orb. Itachi had a Shinigami and book, and then Megami had 3 swords and magic book. Then Senku had, of course, nothing. Furin had Shinigami and magic book, and for Galtha, he had kunai and a cursed equipment. Let's just get into the actual runs now. Okay, so there's a lot of like funny stuff that we, not really funny stuff, but there's a lot of stuff we do in the run. So yeah, simple, first things first, just farming up. Should be very self-explanatory. And then here we got my Inumaki placed down, of course, just to slow these guys. And then he's set to last. Unit priorities make a big difference in terms of your overruns. You'll see, I think in this run we did do our funny, was it a funny Itachi placement? Well, a few funny ones. But yeah, I get this Inumaki here set to last, and I get one more right next to him, set to first. And then Furin's right above his Furin. And yeah, one mistake we did make was having Furin in that spot. We should have just placed a higher up next to the Utahime that was placed down right there. And then Kenny goes right here, making sure the pacifism died, and he did die, so getting him placed down, so he's gonna be at, he's 1 kill behind his, his nameless demon form, because as you can see we have 1 kill and he's still on 0 out of 25. And yeah, as you can see, we'll get Judah placed on soon, but we're making sure Kenpachi does get maxed first, and he's gonna be set to strongest. And then Judah goes right there. We're placing him in a way where he can maximize the Shinigami sword passive, and also have the lightning cover the whole thing, the whole of his range. So I place Judah and make sure he gets maxed before he ends up at lightning, just so he can cover all that range. And I get my Inumakis to upgrade too, all of them. And then our Itachis go right behind that Megami right there, making sure that the Itachis are within Utahime's range. And yeah, we set our Itachis to strongest. And yeah, early game wise, there's not much like difficulty in terms of the strat. It's just managing a few things. Later is where it gets like more of us just managing things. In terms of player 1 POV, it's not gonna be that heavy in terms of like macroing. I think in this player 1 POV I could have done a lot more with Inumaki, but yeah, as you can see, once Judah was on lightning form, I just switched him to none. But yeah, in terms of like player 1 POV, I could have done a lot more in terms of like Inumaki stalling. But yeah, you can see Friends are set the strongest, everyone's set the strongest pretty much. Except for the Inumakis and of course Judah. And yeah, I think around this wave, I think then after a bit later, we do move our Itachi behind this rock. You'll see what I mean. So yeah, so far it's pretty smooth. There's not really much issues at all. But you can see, I think Kenny's on 19 out of 20, 19 out of 25 for his Nameless Demon, which is pretty nice. Ideally, you want him to enter Nameless Demon when like specific bosses do spawn in, because it means he can maximize getting dismembered on everyone. That is what was important for our run and what made a big difference. Making sure that the piety and I think it was the purity and the pacifism, those three ones, do have the dismembered on them. And yeah, that's the last rewind we do get on these enemies, and he will move Megami to the back. Well, not really to the back, to the side, after the magic buff expires. But yeah, now we can switch our friends to first, pretty much, just so we can get these last ones just dead. And Kampachi stays on strongest. And yeah, now we're on, I think it was at 24 kills. So yeah, when we get 2 more kills, Kampachi will enter Nameless Demon. And now I can set Kampachi to first, in case there's stragglers that are not hit with Dismembered. So you can see now we move our Tachis to this placement. I forgot to sell. But yeah, we move here. And we max him. And yeah, set to first, he should be dealing with those guys. I realized his one was on closest. He set to first after. And yeah, we'll set to closest once they get, of course, closer to the Tachis. And once they get to that point, you can see where I'm standing over, that little bend. Itachi should cover a good amount of, like you can see, he covers a lot of path. And he pretty much just like covers that whole part. So when they do get closer, he'll be doing, of course, a lot more once they're stacked properly. And yeah, one more kill and Kenpachi should enter Nameless Demon. But you can see he's applying Dismember to these guys, that's why he set first. So just now, like after that pacifism dies. And yeah, here we're discussing our placements for Itachi. And I sold all my Inumakis, or I've already sold the one at the front. And then I sold the one that is here as well, the second one. And yeah, as soon as my Kenpachi like leaves his nameless demon, I can replace him to here just to make sure I get the aura passive getting damage into these guys. And Itachi should be set to first at this point because they're not always hitting all of them. And we do move our Itachi to the right, you'll see. We're just waiting for the Megami buff to expire. And now we move them here. And they should cover like... They should be able to hit all of them in the stack for a long period of time. And making sure I follow with our inner marquees. And yeah, one thing I can say, I wasn't properly inner marquee stalling. If it does come to another tournament where I need to do it, I'll show you guys what I mean. But you can see his Megami's at the back just so he's given the 25% or damage buff as well. And yeah, Judo's probably done a lot of damage. But I don't think I've checked at all, but he did a lot. He's been doing a lot. But yeah, soon we'll be preparing to move our Itachis again. Behind the rock again. This rock on the right. With Itachi's maximizing his AoE, you want it to be as far as possible, so the edge of his cone is pretty much hitting the enemies at most of the times, because that is where his cone is largest. And is making sure that I follow with Kenpachi at all times, so we can apply Dismembered, and also his aura passive will be helping us as well. So we move our Tachis right here to this new spot right here. And now we move our friends as well. And at this point I do also move my Judah, and this is where we get his freeze buffs going. Well, not really freeze buffs, it's not a buff, but like, this is where we start getting freezing the enemies. Just to delay them slightly more for the enemies behind to get into the stack. That's what's important. And you can see the type of stack we have right now. There's a lot of enemies close by. They are quite like like they're not all like in a 2 radius, but they are all there. And it should build up soon. But yeah, with Dark Mage at this point, you can just let him alternate between lightning and freeze. So when the new enemies do come in, he will freeze them. And of course, when he is lightning, he'll just be doing damage as well. And yeah, at this point, you should be looking to... yeah, this is what happened. This is one thing that messed us up. You see this one enemy at the front? Yeah, he kind of messed our run over because, as you can see, we're wasting a lot of attacks on him, so we're not really hitting the large stack. But yeah, we're still able to get 108 with this, which is crazy. So now we should be moving our Itachi soon, just to make sure we're constantly hitting them after the next one. After they get a bit closer. But yeah, now I'm getting auto upgrade max on placement. And now I can just through and spam, so I'm in my Kenny as well soon. But as soon as I see the DPS number increase on Furin, I can just sell and replace. And yeah, Kenny goes down here as well. And yeah, Tachis are moved behind them. And I somehow accidentally placed the flipping Inumaki. But yeah, at this point we're going to be ignoring the 25% damage buff from our Megami and just non-stop focus our Furin spamming. And as you can see, we're not really getting lucky crits. I think we only got like 1 or 2 crits there. Maybe even 1. Nah, just been 1. So it's not really a crit heavy strat. It's just about managing your things perfectly. And even then, we'd even manage everything perfectly as well. There's a few mistakes and a lot of like minor adjustments we could make to this strat. We could have made to this strat. But yeah, at this point, I am quite short on yen, so I think that'll be the last one I do. Or maybe I do one more after this. Yeah, so I turn auto back off. And then I make sure my placements are correct. So I got one Inumaki at the top there, one Inumaki back here. And I can just leave him on first because the one at the top will be slowing them as well. And he can follow these guys once they break away. And soon we'll be moving Itachi down here to the U team at the bottom in the rock. Just so he can always hit a lot more enemies with his cone. So yeah, we did it quite early just to make sure he is getting the attacks in. I did move my Kenpachi earlier. It's just about moving your Kenpachis, all the units pretty much, is to keep following them at all times. Because Kenpachi is doing a lot of damage, you know, you can't really leave him at the back. If you forget to move him, it makes a big difference. So I placed one more Inumaki here set to last, just to make sure these guys are getting slowed. And yeah, I keep Kenny moving, just making sure that he's moving with them. And yeah, move Thrune and Dark Mage soon, so Dark Mage goes back here. Same with Thrune. And now we can move our Crows as well, just to make sure they're maximizing the AoE. And yeah, same with Thrune, she's gonna get moved as well, as you can see. And now I'm very short on yen, so I can't really spam any units towards her, and it's just making sure that my Kenpachi is following around. And you can see we have 52 kills right now as well, which is crazy. In terms of pace-wise. And yeah, soon we'll move our Itachi behind these guys, so they're maximizing the AoE. And yeah, I just have a bit more yen just so I can move Kenny once more. That's all I have, really. So that's the last Kenny placement I can do. And that's pretty much the last replacement I could have done. And you can see this last enemy is like so close to 1.6 million. And that is the enemy that did lead us to our 108 run. So that's it for the player 1 POV. I'll let this clip play out and just end. And I'll speak over the player 2 in terms of my best of my ability, since I wasn't actually doing anything for that run. Of course, it's just purely player 2. So I'll just voice over what I can see and explain things that he is doing. Okay, yeah, now, so it's player 2 POV. But pretty much player 2 is heavily focused in support-wise, because as you can see, you got Megami, Galtha, and Utahime, making sure Utahime is placed in the correct spots. Also making sure you rewind correctly to make sure you're not messing up the rewinds, and making sure they stay together in a stack. But yeah, overall there's a lot more like macro going in place for the player TPOV. So if Ruin gets placed here with auto upgrade, then Utahime placed right here in a way that even when we do replace our Atachis at the back, she should be covering them. And also my Judah on the left, that would be placed there. And yeah, Megami right here. So yeah, right here to cover at least the Ben on the right. And yeah, making sure, pardon me, I just burped, mate, sorry. But yeah, making sure that the wolf is not auto upgraded, because he wants to get Megami going as soon as possible. And Yamaha will be placed down as well. And his Garth is placed right there as well. And then he has the priority for his wolf to be straight after that. And yeah, and it's all about timing his rewinds. That's what he's doing mainly. If he does like specific like rewinds, I'll explain why he's doing it. But you can see he also has like an F range on his Galtha, just so he can do more like smaller rewinds when he does need to. Because as you guys do know, the placements on this map are not the best. There are times like when you try to place to the side and the edge of the map, it kind of just messes up. But yeah, giving his Galtha F range allows him to do that, and making sure oh my bad, he does not have any extra range from the equipment. And yeah, he did realize that he should have used a Shinigami sword instead of a cursed equipment, but it was still fine. And yeah, his last Megami rewind should be at wave 39 slash wave 40. But you can see he just has his rewinds on auto for now, and it's allowing them to get into a good stack. And yeah, on his call that we did move the Itachi, so he does move his Itachi soon. But he's making sure he's getting his bird out the way just so he doesn't like stun the enemies and mess with Maharaga stun. And there you go, you see the replacement over there. And yeah, on the call he did move the Megami back there. Making sure that Megami is not hitting the path, just so we can get the magic buff going. So he switches his Itachi to first to hit these enemies better. And yeah, this is where he goes with his puppets, so he's making sure that it's not really gonna be you can see what I mean with this map. The placements on this map are not the best. So you just have to utilize the F range and giving as little range as possible to make sure that you can utilize the rewinds perfectly. I guess even one thing that you could do would of course be making sure that you don't even give the second ascension, the one that gives extra 10% range, I'm pretty sure. So you're just pre-planning his Utahime placements, a few of them. You see you can Galtha again right here, making sure they get into the stack. And that's pretty much the main gist of the strat, you know, just making sure that you can Galtha enemies together. And just timing your Megami rewinds until later on, you'll see. And yeah, here again, one more rewind, and you can see it just puts them all together. That's the main thing. That's the main thing, and that's what matters the most. And yeah, you can see on his core, we did move that Itachi over there. So yeah, all those guys got rewinded just to join the stack at the back. We're just trying to make sure we get the biggest stack possible. That's what matters the most for the run. So yeah, Tachi's get moved right back there behind the rock, as you guys do know. And yeah, another rewind soon. To make these guys join that two enemies behind. And yeah, Fruin will get moved soon as well. And he timed his Megami rewind just to, his Megami ability just to make sure that my units were placed as well. But yeah, you can see with this map, it has a lot of funny placements in terms of like, the map is just so shit. Like, it just restricts you a lot. Yes, another rewind as well right there. And there is a 10 rewind cap, so eventually these guys will hit rewind limit. So it's just about maintaining the stack as best as you can. Pushing new enemies into the stack, and of course keeping the old enemies close to the new enemies. Because the larger your stack is, the more damage Itachi can do. And yeah, Megami does get placed here, because he's going to be Megami rewinding eventually. And yeah, I think this Megami rewind did mess us up slightly, because the one singular enemy was still at the front. As you can see, like right here, that one singular enemy. Which we did kill eventually, but of course it did ruin our flow, because we did lose out on a lot of Itachi damage. But yeah, I'm pretty sure with the rewinds we should be able to fix this. And there you go, rewind into those enemies. And yeah, you can see player 2 is just more like focused on doing that stuff. But yeah, you can see he has auto max on placement, and you can just spam phrase through it now. Let's see if he got any crits. I wasn't paying attention to his crits. No crits yet. But yeah, it's another Gartha rewind into. I think we should be close to the cap for them, since it has been a lot of rewinds already. But you can see Megami's placed right here just to shadow rewind them as soon as that last enemy enters. There you go. And this is why you need F range on your Galtha, because as you can see, it's quite frustrating when branches, little bushes, and all that stuff just mess your placements up. Oh, that was a crit right there. As you can see, 1.3 million DPS. And yeah, now he just moves Megami away just to keep the buff cycling consistently. And yeah, he's readying the Itachi movement soon, but making sure you get the Galtha in first. And it's about moving our Itachis again soon. And yeah, I think we should be able to get off like, was it 1 or 2 reminds left? See, after that one, there should be, I think, one last rewind. If we can, if we did survive 30 more seconds. But yeah, with the spare yen he does have, he can do a few throw-in spams, but it's not much. Yeah, that's the last rewind, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the strat. Those are both player POVs. I know I didn't explain much for player 2, but I'm sure most of it was visually like learnable in terms of like what he did. But that's pretty much it for the video. Like, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.